to That Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome to That Wrestling Podcast. The good bad guys of Wrestling Podcast are back talking all things of the week that was in professional wrestling. Hey, it's just the two of us, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. There's just a buzz in the air. I don't know if you can feel it in Ohio.
Well, there's something in the air there, but never mind.
That might be some other kind of buzz.
It's WrestleMania week. I mean, this is our Super Bowl. So so it's nice to see that the good guys of That Wrestling Podcast showed up for this.
It's true. Yeah, I feel it in the air. There's just so much happening, just like on the WWE socials and things that you'll find on their YouTube page that they do. I saw today, they've got the fan fest that they're calling the World.
The World,
and I think either you could be there at a certain time, or they were going to do like a live broadcast of Rhea Ripley getting a tattoo at the World. Like, that's the kind of shit that happens WrestleMania week.
But is that something that you really need to see?
I'm sure there's people. I didn't need to see it.
No.
I didn't think whatever. I think it'd interest me for about a minute. But I'm sure there's people that went wow.
I was there when she got that tattoo on her left wrist.
Right. But that's what's fun about it. It's like every time I check online or something comes across me, I'm always like, what the hell is this? And I'll talk about one of the ones I did make some time for a little bit later on. So yeah, it's exciting, and we're gonna get into all things WrestleMania in a little bit. We're gonna have Barber Ryan come on to do some picks, and yes, as Joe said, it's just him and I. Jason, you heard him last week. He was basically protesting all things.
He needed a mental health day.
Mental health day, I think, is not incorrect. He's the only guy who is not into the final boss and Dwayne, and so he had enough. So he's off for this week, and Kevin is on a little family vacay. So he's enjoying sunny Alabama, I do believe. So it's just the two of us, and like I said, we'll talk everything WrestleMania a little bit later on. But there are some noteworthy things that also went down leading into this week. And let's start off with the thing that happened on Monday. You mean
the thing that can't be avoided no matter what?
Yes, that is a well put. As it became even
no matter what.
Even more news. Yeah, even more news on Wednesday night's wrestling show, which we can quickly mention. But yeah, we're talking about CM Punk. It was his first long interview since leaving AEW and joining WWE, doing his interview with Ariel Helwani on the MMA Hour. And they went for, I think, almost 2 hours. Lots of stuff they covered. And I'd say probably the most buzzworthy items were his thoughts on what went wrong with him in AEW. And he talked about the Hangman Page incident. He talked about Brawl Out and the press conference and everything that kind of led into that. Talked about his issues of Tony Khan saying, hey, we're going to bring you back. We're going to bring you back for Collision, separate rosters. And he's like, that's a terrible idea. It's not going to work. And then a lot of time too spent on everything with the Jack Perry incident at All In and the backstage mess that happened with all of that. And of course, just all things Tony Khan. And Joe's actually he just logged off. He's having some internet issues, so I'll quickly give my thoughts. Biggest takeaways. Punk was saying things that we, as regular wrestling fans, speculated the whole time as these things were going down. Of Tony Khan needs to get his shit together. He has to be a boss, and he wasn't doing that. And hey, welcome back, Joe.
Thank you very much. We mentioned CM Punk, and we broke the internet.
Yeah,
or my Zoom feed. That's what happened.
That's about what happened, I would think. But yeah, just given the reaction of everything Punk and the interview, and I was really getting into the biggest takeaway was his thoughts for me on Tony Khan matching up with what we as just wrestling fans kind of thought of just this guy isn't being a boss and needing to take control of these issues that are happening in his locker room. And he basically confirmed that, talking about how he would go to him and go, "You need to handle this, or else I'm going to handle it, and you don't want me to handle it." So that was probably my biggest one that I was like, you know, God damn, we were all right. We were all right. And yeah, there was a lot to unpack there, Joe. So
he clarified what we were assuming.
Correct.
And it's not hard to assume that when the evidence is so clear from the show from the beginning. It's really gone downhill. Like, not the quality of the show. I'm not ripping on Dynamite, Rampage, or Collision. I'm not doing that. But the quality of the show has gone down since Cody left.
Yeah.
Because there's really no leadership going on there. They thought CM Punk was going to be that leader. And I mean, he made it crystal clear. He didn't want to be. And the most interesting thing I got out of the interview was just fire me. You sold me on a bill of goods. No one wants me here. Just fire me and pay me.
Yeah.
And Tony Khan tried to be the good guy. Like, I bet you he probably is a good guy, but you can't be a good guy when you're running a business.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's got to be an in between. You can't be like someone like who was running the WWE, what we found out about him.
Yeah.
But you can't be like Tony Khan trying to be everyone's best friend. Didn't Bischoff try to be everyone's friend with the NWO, and how'd that turn out?
1,000%. Yes.
And wasn't Bischoff ripping on Tony Khan, and Khan would call him out on it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, those who don't, the saying goes, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Right. Right.
He's got to stop. You can have a positive relationship with your employees, but you got to remember they're still your employees. Your word is the final word. You're really the final boss.
Yeah.
And if you can't handle it, guess what? The door goes both ways, and it's not forbidden. You can just go, because there's a bunch of other guys and gals who are willing to take your spot at the drop of a dime. And that's what he's not getting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And then you would kind of see the comeback. I mean, we saw it on the opening of Dynamite. If you saw Adam Copeland's intro promo of just, "This has been a negative week and I'm looking at the positives." And that's a direct reaction to the Punk interview. And it was like, why are we talking this? This isn't something that was, you're taking up your TV time on this for what was said in an interview. I thought that was another mistake.
I agree. It's been so praised this week. Like, Adam Copeland was so positive, and like that is exactly what AEW needed. And I was watching last night, and I went, "This is so sad."
Yeah.
That they carted him out there to give this rah rah shish kumbaya speech, which should have been given backstage. Not everything needs to be so transparent to the audience.
Thank you. You took it from me. I was going to say, yeah, you want to do a little locker room meeting and say, we heard what this guy said. Let's prove him wrong.
The only people who care about it are the dirt sheet readers.
Yeah.
And they would have found out about it anyway. The general audience does not care about this backstage stuff. They just want to be entertained.
No doubt. Yeah, so that was certainly a huge thing. A couple other little funny or just interesting parts was just getting the concrete timeline of how he came aboard on Survivor Series, how the call came Monday of that week, and it sounded like Nick Khan made the call, and they kind of said, we'd love to get you on board for the Royal Rumble. And he was like, well, I'm free and clear now. And they're like, oh.
I love that they assumed that AEW did a 90-day like anyone else would.
Right. He's like, oh, wish I would have known that. And so the wheels quickly went into motion for him to be there at Survivor Series in Chicago. So that was fun. And I did, it's one of those just cringy but laughing about how he had seen Vince one time since he'd been back. And yes. he was in Vince's gym exercising. Vince, comes over and gives the welcome home, pal, and let's catch up later.
And I never spoke to him again.
Yeah. And Ariel was like, you never did. And Pug had that like, some things have come up, Ariel, or whatever his line was, that was obviously alluding to Vince's ouster due to the legal situation. So that was pretty ridiculous hearing about that. So yeah, a lot to unpack. And
I felt like the person he needed to make amends with was Paul, is what he's not used to calling him.
Right.
He's like Hunter, Triple H. And like, I thought it was really big of Paul Triple H Levesque to not only say like, make the call, but wanted to do it as a FaceTime.
Yeah.
Instead of doing just a regular phone call or anything. It's like wanted to be more personal.
Mm-hmm.
So every single time I hear more and more about how he's running things, the more excited I feel about the next couple of years. When he says that we are on the dawn of a new era after WrestleMania 40, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, it's been a great last, roughly 2 years or however long it's been that he's been, in a prime position of being in charge.
Didn't really start at SummerSlam 2022.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's, we're almost at the 2-year mark. So yeah, it's been good. The business is huge, and it's exciting television. And I wonder, Joe, when Punk was fired from AEW, I think all of us were just like, enough with this guy. Like, it's always something, it's always an issue. And so that was end of August. And now here we are.
That happened at Payback, because Jason and I were at the Premium Live event when the message went off on the phones that CM Punk was fired on the air Collision.
Correct.
Right when the Premium Live event was starting. It's like, man, you even tried to get a ratings play out of that one. And after the event, we went back to the hotel, and we're just basically just like, no, I don't see it. Both of us were just like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So here we are months later. By all accounts, he's been, a model employee. You get to hear his side of the story on this interview. Has your attitude changed?
And there shouldn't be a lawsuit afterwards, like the last time he gave his side of the story on a podcast.
He wasn't sure. He was not sure. He's like, I don't have the non-disclosure agreement, but I don't know if I should be talking about this. But
your question was, has my attitude changed? That is what you said, correct?
Correct.
Not really, because after the Survivor Series emergency podcast that we did when he came out, I basically said then, and I'm saying it now, as long as he's happy, I don't care. Like, you don't want to see someone go somewhere and it's just like blows up. I don't want to wish doom and gloom on somebody. I'm more of a positive person. It's my new leaf of 2024.
It is. So, you're living the gimmick.
I am. And apparently all the negativity I had in the past all went to Jason.
100%.
And it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
No doubt about
But okay, enough about me ripping on Jason. That's my only one for this week.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't. Okay, it might come up again.
Yeah.
I can't make any promises. There's no guarantee on this one. As long as he's happy and they're happy with what he's doing, then it's all gravy from here on out. Because again, I believe in what Triple H is doing.
Yeah.
What about you?
It's worked out. I'll say mostly yes, but it's still interesting to hear things of like talking about the Jack Perry incident of they had their confrontation backstage, and he's like, I choked him, but I didn't do this, and it's like, well, you still shouldn't be choking someone, backstage.
Right.
So it's like, I'm not hearing these things going like, holy crap, I was wrong about Punk. He was a nice guy the whole time. I think probably he made a ton of mistakes that were justifiable to put him in a bad light. But it does seem like things have turned a leaf.
Just imagine if you were in his shoes. You're at a job that you were sold a bill of goods on, that you hate. Everyone who works with you does not want you there, and they just keep poking the bear.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do?
You'd be frustrated.
You'd be frustrated,
Yeah.
and if they got in your face physical, like
Yeah.
in the line of work that you're in,
Yeah.
I don't see your job, someone getting in your face and you're just gonna choke them out. It's like, oh,
Right.
Brian just had to choke a bitch. No, that's not what I'm thinking, but it's just you can see where the frustration finally peaked. Now, if it was me,
Yeah.
would I have gone physical? No, but I'm not in that line of work. But I could see, like, if I was at a job I hated, I would snap
Mm-hmm.
and maybe say some things unprofessionally, which I would
Yeah.
not be proud of, and the consequences would be 100% my fault. That's what happened to him.
He confirmed too when he got over to London for the show that there was no transportation for him. Did you catch that?
Yes.
That was like never confirmed, but it was like, here's CM Punk on the tube, like the British subway system or whatever. And it's like, geez, you talk about going off on the wrong foot. You fly with this overseas flight, and you get there and there's nobody there to pick you up, and you're like, well, I guess I'll just head on the tube here and see if I can make my way there. Yeah, so it was a whole lot to steamroll into a bad event for him. WrestleMania, I mean, listen, Friday we got SmackDown, we got the Hall of Fame.
You plan on
Let's
watching
talk.
it? Hall of Fame live?
I want to say probably. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. You've got what, The Rock's grandma. You've got what, Thunderbolt Patterson, the U.S. Express. Um, who else am I
Muhammad
thinking of?
Ali,
Muhammad Ali, thank you. Paul Heyman, and
Bull
was there
Nakano.
Bull Nakano? That's the one I was not thinking of. So, there's some interesting choices there. Yeah, we'll see. Obviously it'll be shortly after 10. I'm sure they're going to have to clear the ring after SmackDown and set up the stage and the chair. So maybe it goes off at like 10:15 or something.
I'm guessing like
I
10:30, 10:45.
maybe, yeah. So I can see maybe like I'm watching the first two and going, all right, this will be something I watch on Thursday next week.
I don't think the Hall of Fame is must see.
No,
it hasn't been for, I don't think ever. Let's just be honest.
I mean, I would. So listen,
when it
Heyman,
was like its own separate night, and it was
yes,
like Friday night, 8 o'clock, but that went on forever
oh
when it was just
yeah,
on a
yeah.
network. Like I think Letus and Hillbilly Jim are still
Hillbilly
giving their
Jim was the one I was
speeches.
thinking of. Yeah, Mr. T was a big one. I
Well, he
remember.
loves his mama.
Always does. Yeah.
Like
So
what I remember that speech, besides they were all so long, was Mr. T loves his mama.
mhm.
Lita had a beer with Arn Anderson. Said that about 1,000 times. And Hillbilly Jim is still talking.
Hillbilly went on and on. So yeah, it's not the best. I mean, but I can remember being excited for like, holy shit, they got the Ultimate Warrior. Holy shit, Scott Steiner is going to be it. So there's been those ones that I'm like, ooh, I want to see that. But the show as its entirety, and Jason isn't here again, but he's gone to I think
Oh
two of
man.
them, and he's like, never again, never again. It's a too long of a thing with just so little other than somebody talking.
It's not for the fans. It's for the industry.
No,
That's why I
yeah,
don't think it should be televised. It should just be for the industry. It's a Hall of Fame.
yeah,
But I say that about like the NFL Hall of Fame ceremony, MLB. Like it doesn't need to be broadcasted.
yeah,
But again, if it makes dollars, it makes sense. And if they're
yeah,
making money off of it, be my guest. But Jason, yeah, he said he's been to two of them and he was bored.
yeah.
I thought you were gonna say that, like, Jason, if he was here, because his reaction to some of the Hall of Famers has been very. I can
Oh
see
yeah,
why
he
he's
was
taking a
so
break.
mad about Rock's grandma. Like, I'm sure she's worthy when they
Jerry
talk about her
Jarrett, Jim
accolades, but
Cornette,
yeah, like
and of course I text back Cyndi Lauper. I'm like
Cyndi
I'm
Lauper.
trying to poke the anger
Yeah,
there.
no, just reel off the names.
I'm adding
But
salt to
yeah,
the open wound.
Heyman's the main guy, and on Raw we found out Roman is doing the induction. You
But
down
who
for
else would be
that?
the main guy in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I mean I didn't know. I like we talked about it when he was first announced that he was going to be, be in the put on the hall, and I was like, oh,
ECW,
hmm
Paul Heyman, Philadelphia makes sense.
hmm
Roman inducting him, well, you can't get the other guy,
yeah.
so you might as well get the one he's been most successful with at the other one he's been successful with. Who else would you get? Austin with the Dangerous Alliance and the Alliance.
It's been a minute now, but yeah, that's not a
Yeah.
bad one.
Yeah, but no, I think Roman it makes sense
What about when he
storyline wise now.
what about when he managed Curtis Axel? Yeah.
And Ryback.
And
Oh,
Ryback.
Ryback could tag team
Yes.
off of each other. It would have been
Yeah.
amazingly terrible.
Oh, I know. Yeah. No, it's a good choice. I just
I mean, but you could also say RVD,
Tommy
Tommy Dreamer.
Dreamer. Yeah.
Like
Taz. Well, I guess
Taz.
you
Well, you
can't
can't
do
get Taz,
Taz
but you can get
because yeah.
Tommy Dreamer
Yeah.
because even though he's like does most of his work with TNA, he still does
They'll
things
be
with
fine. Yeah.
WWE too.
Yeah.
RVD, whatever. But Roman's going to be a better speech.
You will. I just hope Paul isn't like in character the majority of the time. I do want to hear the ECW stories and WCW stories. Like,
What do you
that's
want the
what for
speech
them.
to be like the SmackDown before Survivor Series when he's yelling at Vince?
I'm all right with that because that was a hell of a promo. Um, you know, your father or whatever. You took away my family's money, whatever he said.
You know whose ideas
Yeah,
you stole the most?
yeah.
Mine.
You stole mine. Yeah. So I want authentic. I'm sure he's gonna, hello, my name is Paul Heyman and talk about tribal chief and all that. That's fine. But I hope it's nice and legit as far as like, yeah, I started ECW and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like I want candid stuff that
It'll
hopefully
probably
he'll
start
say.
with him like, going to Madison Square Garden,
Yeah.
15 years old, taking pictures for Pro Wrestling Illustrated
Yeah.
and just getting like, the press credentials at 15, 16 years old, telling those stories.
Yeah. And that's what I want to hear about. That's what I want to hear about. All that stuff
Yeah,
from
but we've heard it.
I know, but I want that rather than, you know, my tribal chief, and just like continuing on with the
Thank you, my tribal
character
chief.
of being the advocate and yeah, like let's turn that off or just turn it down for tonight. Let's get the real guy and go from there. So that's my only expectations for it.
No,
Um
I would love the Paul Heyman of his promo on ECW One Night Stand 1,
yeah.
where he's just yelling at
Yeah,
the guys in the suite.
yeah.
Hide your wives. Edge is here. JBL, you know
Yeah.
why you're champion? Because Triple H doesn't work Tuesdays.
That's a shoot, cowboy. Yep,
That's the
that's
one.
it.
That's the Paul Heyman I want.
I'm down for that. Yeah. So that's all my expectations for that. And then we roll into Saturday during the day. I think this is the third year NXT has done stand and deliver during the day. I've never watched like most of it live just because either work related or something's been going on. So we'll quickly just touch on the card and we can just say, anything you're kind of looking forward to or you've maybe caught your eye.
There's only
You've
one
got
thing I'm looking forward to. The rest of it's going to be good, but there's only one
yeah,
match we know that I'm
no doubt.
looking forward to.
Your championship is Dragunov and Tony D. You got tag teams. It's the Wolf Dogs against Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Women's champ Lyra Valkyria, Roxanne Perez. Oba Femi versus Dijak versus Josh Briggs, North American Championship. A lot of beef in that one. They got a 6 women tag match: Thea Hale, Fallon Henley, Kalani Jordan versus JC Jane, Kiana James, and Izzy Dame. Kickoff show is Shawn Spears and Joe Gacy. And then your main event is Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. I'm willing to bet that's the one for you.
Oh no, it's Shawn Spears and Joe Gacy. Come on, no, it's come on, it's Trick and Mello.
Love it.
Mello don't miss. Whoop that Trick. That main event is going to be like in contention of one of not only it's going to be the best match of NXT.
Yeah, I would.
But it's going to be in contention of like the best match and story of the whole weekend.
Yeah,
they've nailed that story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like it's not a one match card. That's the thing. Like when you think about it, it's like the whole Stand and Deliver is going to deliver from the pre-show all the way to the end. But the main event is so good that it's a non-title match as your main event during WrestleMania weekend.
And added to it that I didn't know, up until them presenting it on television, that Trick is like from Philly, played or at least had like tryouts with the Eagles. So he's got like the hometown vibe behind him. They showed him running up the Rocky steps. I was like, wow, we're doing that for Trick. Okay. So yeah.
At least they didn't do a Rocky 3 vignette.
No, they did. There's no nearby beach, I guess, unless they've headed to the Jersey Shore. No one wants to do that.
I'm afraid.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I know. It's just that you're hidden on me. Yeah, so that's the one for me too. Yeah, all the matches look fine, but that one, yeah, that could be in contention for coming out of this weekend going
match of the weekend.
That's in the top 3 or whatever. Yeah, so
yeah,
excited about that. All right, we're gonna bring in Barber Ryan. We're gonna get to our picks here in a minute, but while we get to bring him on, it's hard to think about it like this, but yeah, with it being WrestleMania 40, it's always fun to think about, the highlights of 40 freaking years of WrestleMania. They can be personal, just things that you remember from shows that, are the reason why we are fans of wrestling.
We just hit 3 years of doing this show. So it's like,
yeah.
When you put this down on the lineup, and I'm just like going, I think we've done this every single year. So I'm like, I have to go back to the archives of like, say something I haven't said yet.
Yeah.
Don't mention 23. Don't, because
you
were
can.
there.
I'm going to mention it.
Don't mention 3 because you wanted to go and everyone on your block went and you were stuck at home because your parents hated you. Don't mention that.
Sad.
What? No, it's not sad, but it's just like, I'll let you go first of like your best WrestleMania moment. I have a couple, but I just want to make sure I don't repeat you or myself.
Yeah. The first one, I mean, you could say anything about us being there for Mania 23 at Ford Field. That was the first one, and only one for some of us to go. But the moment I'm taking away from that one is the Money in the Bank ladder match. And it was, if you remember, Hornswoggle came out from under the ring to help Finley. And he ends up climbing the ladder, and freaking Mr. Kennedy puts him on his back and does like his little like somersault plunge move from like the top of the ladder. And I remember just exploding watching that. I was like, this is the best. So that's my moment takeaway from 23. Shout out to Kofi Mania. God, that's a fun match. Crowd so into it. And it was such a great organic build of how Kofi even ended up in this spot. Daniel Bryan is awesome. It's a great match. Great commentary from Tom Phillips. Love that match. That's always one that I can go back and put on and be like, yeah, this one holds up. And then my final one, you were part of this one a little bit, but Mania 38, which for Mania 38 in Dallas, where you and I were at my work event for night one.
Yes.
And so you and I, we're already rolling into this podcast and everything now. Phones were off. We're not looking at spoilers. We're not talking wrestling. We just enjoyed our company in the night. So finally, I think I get to my room at about 2:30 in the morning or so after teardown is done. As we welcome in Barber Ryan. How are you, my friend?
What's going on, guys?
Brother, good to see you. We're just talking, and we'll get to you. Uh, just some favorite memories of 40 years of WrestleMania. Think of a couple here. Do a little brainstorming. So I'm talking to my last favorite one was Mania 38, Night 1 in Dallas. Myself and Joe, I had a work event. And so we shut off the phones. We went spoiler free, knowing that this is all going on. And this was, of course, Seth Rollins versus a mystery opponent. And finally, by the time I was done,
I still haven't watched yet. Don't spoil. Spoiler.
The statute of limitations are done, Joe. Finally, like 2:30 in the morning or so, I pop the phone on and see that it was fucking Cody Rhodes.
That's right. That so ticks me off that you turned the phone. You read it.
I wasn't gonna wait until. I wasn't gonna wait until
the next afternoon. Turned Mania on at noon.
I couldn't do it
when that match was coming up. Like I was still off my phone. That match was coming up. My wife's like, I'm gonna take a nap so I can at least watch some of WrestleMania tonight. So she's sleeping on the couch. I have the volume down, and I'm still watching it. And then wrestling has more than one royal family. And I'm like, my actual volume.
Just grab a pillow and just scream into it.
Yeah. Right. I was up for another 90 minutes or so, just looking at all the videos, all the reactions, everything. Right, I didn't watch the match until the next day, but I couldn't go to bed without knowing who was the mystery guy and was it Cody.
I could,
and that was pretty cool.
I wanted
guilty.
I wanted to go back in time to when WrestleMania was on closed circuit television, and I had to wait a week until it was on Showtime to watch it, because I was going to be like, I am not going to be sucked in by reading about it. I want to experience it. We all knew who it was going to be, but I wanted that moment.
I didn't know
you
for
reading
sure.
it, kind of like ruined it for you, but not me. But my 3, WrestleMania 38, but it wasn't that moment, because I think I mentioned it last year. Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville.
I watched that the other day.
That one.
Just a fun match, like WrestleMania 38. After
with the body slam,
exactly, and the giant
rat trap,
the hand.
It was a wrestling match.
It was a
hardcore match, but it was just fun.
Showed people like filming it with Sammy, and Sammy was in the ring, and they had the lights down, and they were showing stuff on the Titantron, and he was still acting like he's stuck and he can't get out of it.
Oh, that's right.
He played that one.
I forgot.
So
that.
There's that. Okay, so that one was on there, and because WrestleMania 38 basically surpassed 19 as being my second favorite WrestleMania of all time, top to bottom, and it was 2 nights of top to bottom, but like so many great moments. Another one from my favorite WrestleMania, and a lot of people say it's like the worst match of the night. No, you have no heart. The Gimmick Battle Royal.
Oh,
to hear Mean Gene and Bobby the Brain come back after WCW went down, I'm like, is this what we're gonna get from this new era? I'm all for it. So I love the Gimmick Battle Royal. I love the fact that years later finding out that Iron Sheik won because he couldn't take a bump or go over the ropes.
He couldn't go over the ropes. Yep.
he had to win. Over the ropes. If I knew that ahead of time, because I was at B-Dubs with some friends, I'm like, Iron Sheik and Slaughter are the last 2. And then great. Basically, I don't know, like last one for me, WrestleMania 7. Because after WrestleMania 7, I stopped watching wrestling altogether until like WrestleMania 13. Like I was just done with it. And it was because I was so stupid. Macho Man Warriors retirement match. I was such a Macho Man fan.
Number 7.
So seeing him lose, but him and Elizabeth embrace, I was like, great storybook ending. He ended the story back in WrestleMania 7.
Finished the story.
He finished the story. But I was like, if he's not going to wrestle anymore, I don't really care. So I stopped watching.
That was it. Wow.
That was it.
Okay.
Not knowing that he came back in 9 and 10, but like, I just was like, okay, Macho Man's done. I don't need to watch anymore. So those are my 3 moments for this year. Next year I'll come up with 3 more.
Yeah, he was the champ at WrestleMania 8 against Ric Flair. So
I know, right?
Yeah, so it wasn't over for Macho Man. But
I didn't know. I didn't find
there.
out till years later.
Yeah, so that's when you learned for the first time that a retirement stipulation in wrestling just doesn't hold up.
Yeah, but I was like 12.
Exactly. Yeah, lessons learned. Lessons learned. Ryan, you've been to 1 or 2 manias?
32. Just
32
one.
is the one.
Yeah,
okay.
One WrestleMania, number 32, not 32 manias. That'd be fucking sick.
32 of 30, 39
32 in a row,
40,
baby.
Yeah.
You went to one of the worst ones. I'm sorry.
I did. It was terrible. It was the whole experience was terrible. And Jason, I just talked to him. He said he was there, which was cool. I didn't know that, but we were way in the back. It was my first big event kind of thing. The Access weekend was great. That was one of the funnest things. But the event itself, we were so far back, and it was just like where the entrance was. If you see, you can see like the roof of the entrance.
Yeah.
We were behind that, so it's like when Austin would come out and he'd walk side to side, his music would be fucking 2.5 minutes in before we'd even see him, because he would come out here and you'd see him at the descend of the ramp. Right. So it's like, dude, fuck all this. And then the Ambrose and Lesnar match was the big one, and that sucked. And like Triple H and Roman and Shane Taker, and like I can say I went to one, which is cool, but it's not one to brag about by any means.
No.
At least the one we went to was 23, and that was fun.
I should have.
Batista Undertaker is still the best match of the night.
Michaels and Cena.
Michaels and Cena, even though we were all angry when we left because we didn't want Cena to win, it made sense.
Yeah.
I was living in Central Michigan at the time, and I came down here for
Money in
Taste
the
of Chaos, the concert, and I seen all the production trucks, and I was like, I need to be at that, and we just didn't go. I was so butthurt about it. My senior year of high school, all that good stuff.
We tailgated where Little Caesars Arena is now. Back then, it was just an abandoned parking lot.
Nice.
Yeah. Good memories. But what positive memories of WrestleMania come to mind here, Ryan?
You said you had 3 of them?
Yeah. Three's a good number.
All right. Without like looking into it, just off the top of the rip, I was born in '89, so like my WrestleManias was like 97 to like 05 was like just a vibe for me. Like it was just banger, 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 banger.
Yeah.
The ones that really stood out to me, if I picked 3, is definitely the Austin Rock trilogy. At some point, any of the 3 were great. My favorite was 19, just because Rock finally got that W.
Oh, wow.
And you didn't really know it was Austin's last match, thankfully. So I was super into it. 15 and 17 were both great. Changed my whole life. It was the coolest shit in the world to watch when you were 9, 10 years old.
Yeah.
I'd say Mania 20. I loved 20. There's a lot of great matches on that one too. Obviously, the Benoit main event is controversial, but at the time,
but it was a hell of a
15-year-old
kid
watching that. Benoit seeing his comeuppance, Eddie in the ring, that perfect shot when he turned. It's just, it'll forever be one of my favorite WrestleMania pictures, despite how shitty Benoit is as a human being.
Right.
But my God, that was so good. And then you had Cena's big kind of debut with Big Show with the U.S. title match. You had Brock and Goldberg, which was supposed to be good, but was fucking terrible.
Yep.
Just that tag team match, just everything was great.
Oh, Rock and Foley versus Evolution.
Yeah, Evolution.
And
Orton was my favorite at that time. So like Orton and Foley getting their stuff, and the next month was Backlash, which their hardcore match was great. So it was like, it was so good. Third would probably, I'll go more recent. I really like 31. Rollins cashing in.
Yeah, this is Santa Clara, I think, right? That's what Kevin and Jason went to that one.
It was Orton and Rollins with that amazing step up RKO.
The best RKO ever.
D-Bry winning the IC title. Sting and Triple H was lame, but it was still cool in some way. You had what was it? Was it Taker and Bray at that one?
Yes,
it was.
Bray should have won that one. But yeah, those are just 3 that like randomly. Just
Rusev came out in a tank.
And then lost to Cena.
And then lost to Cena.
Yeah, that started that Cena Open Challenge stuff. That was pretty sweet because I think a couple weeks later, that was when KO debuted, which was sick.
Mm-hmm.
And when he stomped on that belt and hold up the NXT, I was like,
"Oh yeah,
this is it, dude!" Like
that was a statement. Yeah,
those are my three just random top. I know it was like 10 in there, but like just overall, my favorite ones probably anywhere of the 15, 17, 19-ish. You said 19 earlier. I loved 19. I was 14 at the time watching it, so it was like just incredible matches. That was such a fun time to watch.
Plus 10.
It's definitely there's a lot of people you see the debates of 19 versus 17. People do that a lot of
I was in that one for years, but 38 has surpassed 19.
38's great, yeah. I like 38.
I'm a big 30 guy.
I like 32.
Well, it's the Yes movement. It's Cena and Bray. It's just the opening.
Streak.
Yeah, the streak. Which I mean, you know where you are. What happened?
You hung up on your girl.
I hung up.
Holy crap! Undertaker lost.
Click. I gotta go. Let's reenact this, okay? Talking to my wife. It's funny, it came up on my
fiance.
Yes. Yeah,
you weren't married yet. You were
we're a couple months away.
Yes.
A couple months away. But it came up today on Facebook memories of one of our friends. She was in Vegas for for a wedding, right? So literally today they're celebrating their 10-year anniversary. So it came up. So she's in Vegas for the wedding. This is WrestleMania night, and it's like the middle of the card when that match actually happened. And she's in Vegas doing her thing, I'm sure had drinks all day and all night. And I'm just, listening. One eye's on WrestleMania. I'm not like out of the room or nothing like that.
You're not listening. You don't have to lie. You're just watching WrestleMania after.
I don't know. Because at this point, it's like, well, Undertaker's going to win. He always wins.
Yeah.
And then he loses. And it was literally like whatever in the middle sentence she was saying, I was like, Undertaker lost. I gotta go. Click. And that was it, right, Joe?
Oh, yeah. He was at my house, and I'm like, did you just hang up on Angela? I'm like, no, I didn't believe it until I saw 21-1 and him sitting there like,
yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, that match ends. It's not like Brock's music hit right away. There's just
I don't even think they hit Brock's music at all. I think it was just quiet.
I think eventually
Heyman looking shocked.
Yeah, Heyman shocked.
Heyman's the best.
The crowd shots are all this.
Yes.
And it was the announcement. Fan. Yeah, the announcement isn't like right then. It's a good probably 20 to 30 seconds before the ring announcer that Justin Roberts probably goes.
No one could believe it. You could.
Here's your winner, Brock Lesnar. So
even at home, you could feel it.
So that one's a huge rewatch for me.
I do wish my favorite one of probably my favorite Taker Street match was him and Punk, because I love that 20 and the one with the fist. So cool, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's pouring Paul Bear's ashes out and just pouring on his face and just pouring his hands. Like, dude, my God,
that one was wild.
And he keeps going, no offense.
Yeah. He's playing like catch with it, juggling it with Heyman.
The best they match is 25 against HBK.
I like it too.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
I liked Orton with 21 also. That
really
choke slam into RKO was sick. That reminded me of a Big Show and DDP back in the day.
Everyone knows the best streak match is against King Kong Bundy.
Or what
about Flair, WrestleMania 18.
Him versus was it Big Show and A-Train at one of them.
Oh yes, when Nathan Jones couldn't beat.
Yeah.
I think that match is the reason why it got bumped from second to third.
He just came out and did a roundhouse.
Yeah. I think that was the match that like kind of ruined it, and the Miller Lite Catfight girls being
so
on
stupid.
there. That kind of like
I forgot that was a thing.
That took away. That made 19 go down because 38 had so many great moments.
You got a Limp Bizkit. You got a Limp Bizkit concert.
So well, it wasn't all bad then. Yeah.
And now here,
my way or the highway.
Peace for band.
Their hit song Crack Addict.
Oh yeah,
Crack Addict was the song.
Yeah, I was like, I remember being a kid trying to find it. My mom's like, what are you trying to find, man? I'm like, it's called Crack Addict. I can't find it. I don't know where to get it, but it's the coolest song right now.
I think I liked this on Twitter recently. They had some contest for that WrestleMania of like take the Limp Bizkit album cover artwork of chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water and like theme it to wrestling. And so this must have been like, Photoshop version 1 that like somebody like did like a square of Austin's face and like a square of The Rock and posted it. And he won like tickets to WrestleMania. And the coach interviewed him for like a minute. I'll try to see if I saved it and I'll send it to you guys because it's.
Do you see that thing with The Rock? The guy got a tattoo of The Rock's autograph.
Yes,
and Rock sent him to, like.
I did.
Why do people do this? I have so many stupid tattoos, but I never.
You tell us why. Why would he do that?
Yeah, I don't understand. But I mean, I guess you got tickets to Mania, so if you spent $200 on a tattoo, you got a $500 ticket. Watch him put him right in the nosebleeds and just go full heel.
he just pulls out Final Boss one more time, and
they were tickets to WrestleMania. They were tickets to WrestleMania 39.
Yeah.
Oh no,
these are not valid, sir. You have to get
sorry. So let's we're gonna get to our predictions for a couple of matches in a few, but I wanted to break down night 1 versus night 2 and kind of gauge like what your excitement level is and like how the card shaped up. So here's how it laid out. Night 1, we've got Ray and Dragon Lee versus Santos and Dom. We've got the 6-woman Bianca, Naomi, Jade versus Damage Control. We've got the 6-pack ladder match of all the tag teams. Jay and Jimmy Uso, Gunther and Sammy, Rhea and Becky, and of course Rock, Roman, Cody, and Seth. So then night 2, Roman and Cody, of course, Seth and Drew, Io and Bayley, the U.S. Triple Threat with Logan, Randy, and KO, LA Knight, AJ Styles, and the Philly Street Fight of Lashley and the Prophets, and the Final Testament. What do you think of that breakdown, guys? I'm thinking night 1.
I'm
already. I'm
2.
Like, really? Wow.
Yeah, team night 2, more championships.
Really?
No, there are.
Well, we got tag team on night 1. We've got IC and a women's.
Okay.
There's 3. So what's night 2? We got Cody,
Universal, heavyweight.
Okay, there is 4.
U.S.
women's.
You're right.
So that's
I
more.
Both.
Okay.
I don't think I can pick one. I'm looking at the matches right now, and I could take a couple out, but they're all good. Like I don't really give a shit about the women's 6-woman tag. I don't think anybody
It's a way
does.
to get Bianca on the card and introduce Jade.
And Jade, yeah.
That makes sense. It's just like
and to get the Lashley and the Street Profits on the card along with returning AOP. You can't bring them back and not have them at Mania. So
you think that
having them as a street fight is the right way? That's fun.
You think Bayley beats Io because
I do.
Then we already picked that.
Damage Control loses.
Yeah,
we'll get to the picks.
Well, we'll get to that one. We'll get to that one. But
yeah.
I do see kind of that direction. But I'll tell you what, guys. When I thought about this some more, about like, am I more excited for night 1 or night 2? I think I am not. I'm going to be on the edge of my seat, worried about Cody versus Roman. I'm going to enjoy the hell out of night 1 with I can't wait to see The Rock and Roman and Seth and Cody. It's fun. I can't wait to see how Rock's going to look and everything about it. And no matter what happens, while I think we likely think Rock and Roman will win to make it Bloodline rules, if not, there's still some angles that it could go either way. But if Cody actually loses night 2, I think that's why I'm going to be watching that match going like, man,
if Cody loses night 2, Ryan, are you available to co-host
we'll
with
never
me,
hear
that other wrestling podcast? Because I can't come back on this show.
Jason would be
awful.
All of us muted and him on the most on fire "I told you so" rant of all time. Yeah, just a laugh. It would be an on repeat laugh for an hour.
I won't be here. I'll be hosting my own that other wrestling podcast show.
So yeah, I think
I'll be that wrestling podcast 2.0.
Jason's got the DiBiase laugh just for 2 hours.
Yeah, that I literally could see that happening. And I told you so. We'd never hear it. Roman could lose it the very next night on Monday Night Raw. He won't, but He could, and it wouldn't stop the
Who
train.
Is he, Zack Ryder?
That would be, yes. It wouldn't stop the train of him just going, I told you so. I told you so. So I feel like that's going to be like in my stomach the whole time while I'm watching that main event going, my God, what we've what has our life become if Roman
Dude, it makes
wins?
it so fun with all this speculation too, because
Yeah.
anybody can fantasy book any way of anything. And now you got MJF talking about The Rock on Twitter, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's MJ!" Like it's just like
right.
everything
Troll.
is so fun right now. Like it's
Yeah.
just anything can happen. Like Rollins can turn Roman. It's all fucking cool. I love it this week.
Well, so this isn't.
And thank you, Adam Copeland, for getting us all ready for it.
Yeah, we all love wrestling. Even if you hate wrestling, you love it, is what I think he said. So Ryan, we did last week when Jason and Kevin were here. We did all right. Here's our picks for the card so far. So we got about 9 matches in, and then there's another 4 that have been added since we recorded last Thursday. So this isn't your on the record pick because we had Jason's buddy Greg last week make the pick of Cody and Roman. Who would your pick be?
We're on right for the big dog right now.
Yeah, I said like this doesn't count, but I just
it
want to know
doesn't count because
where's your
the
head
guest
at?
already got that one.
Yeah.
I think Roman wins.
Really?
Dude.
Oh my God.
You are no longer hosting that other wrestling podcast 2.0 with me.
Dude, I just my question is like, where does it go after this though? Like because there's so much still with like people hate it, but there's so much still with the bloodline that's just juicy.
Is there?
It's oozy, actually. It's oozy juicy.
But
it
can be without the title though. They can still have the oozy.
I understand.
That's people don't think that, but I think it.
I'm excited either way. I'm not a diehard Cody or Roman fan. I think it's very fun of the matchup that they've put together. I don't really have a dog in the fight of who could win, but I think that
you obviously have the big
Roman,
dog in the fight.
No, if Roman beats Cody, he goes to SummerSlam, and that's what beat Hogan record.
That would be
no.
Jason's right
September.
after that. Yeah, it's like
early
September.
It's September.
So
it's basically a house show in at the Garden.
So yeah, I mean, even with that aspect, maybe Cody gets it. I'm gonna pick Roman, but
but if Hogan was the overall record holder, number 1, then that would be an accomplishment.
Yeah,
but he's not. Bruno is.
Yeah,
so
he's not catching Bruno. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And Michael Cole said it.
Jason was booking
Monday. Yeah, Michael Cole. Yeah, if Jason was booking, he'd beat Bruno by 10 years.
He would have doubled Bruno.
No,
he beat Rollins for the title and then go on a 10-year
run. Michael Cole said something on Monday Night Raw. If anyone picked up on it, he said on night 1, Roman Reigns ties Hulk Hogan for most WrestleMania main events, and on night 2, he breaks Hogan's record for the most WrestleMania main events.
Oh, sure. Because he gets 2 in 1 year.
That beats Hogan's record.
Okay.
That's the record that will be broken.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm excited to see a great match regardless. I'm excited to see what night 1 ends like, because then it just sets up a whole new set of new can of worms you got to open for night 2. Like, they know what they're doing this year, man. It's fun. Everyone's confused, waiting to see what happens. Like,
it's pretty cool. This is the first time. This is what, the third 2-night WrestleMania, I think, 3rd or 4th.
Not counting.
Not counting the studio one, which is just we're doing something here.
On tape, this is the first time that on tape in a studio.
Yeah, this is the first one where something on night 1 happens to affect night 2. They've been separate shows, so that's what's really cool about it.
So this is the 4th one because
2021
was the rain delay.
Mm-hmm.
And then 38, Cody's return.
Yeah.
Last year goes Hollywood, LA. And then
So the 5th one, technically the 4th one in our real world, I would have to say. Okay.
All right, let's make the picks.
Yeah, so this is our and the rest of WrestleMania predictions from last week, and I've gotten Jason and Kevin's predictions, so I'll be giving those as well for these matches. So let's start with the tag team ladder match, and they emphasize this on Raw. Both titles are on the line, so you can predict 2 winners if you want, And if they both were to win, you'd get 2 points. And you get 1 point if you predict one winner, and there ends up being two. That's fine as well. You could also pick just one winner to win them both, whatever the case. It's Judgment Day defending against DIY, Miz and R-Truth, Theory and Waller, Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, and The New Day. Ryan, I'll start with you, buddy.
I'm going to take 2 winners just to break them up and make TV a little more fun to watch with those tag titles.
Yeah.
I think Awesome Truth gets one, and I think A-Town Down Under gets the other ones. I feel like Austin Theory needs something to do, and he's been kind of all over like Instagram. If you guys watch the Joey Swole videos, have you seen that guy? He's a bodybuilder.
I just seen the clip of like him in the gym interrupting.
He calls out people for like having bad etiquette in the gym, and like this is how you should do it. Do better stuff. Well, Theory obviously worked the fuck out of this guy. Like Joey fell right into it, and you can tell it's Waller and Theory just being the pricks that they are. Yeah. And Joey got on this whole hype thing about wanting to beat his ass in a wrestling match and things like that. And I think Theory and Waller are annoyingly a good team.
Yes.
Waller annoys the fuck out of me, but he's good. And Theory I like a lot just because he's came a long way since that selfie shit, thank God. But he's got to do something, man. He's just sitting there doing nothing, man. I don't know. He's getting knocked out by KO one punch every week, it seems like.
There's been a lot of that.
But hopefully, I'd like to see them get some gold and see something. I mean, they can do something with it, you know?
Mm-hmm. And Miz and R-Truth were the other pick.
I think that'd be a fun one because you're going to love one and you're going to hate one if they separate it. So, like, Truth is entertaining as hell. Miz needs something to do, too. And it's like Judgment Day, I feel like, has kind of ran its course. You kind of see Dom flirting with that LWO stuff.
Yeah.
Rhea seems like she's still involved, but bigger than the group. And I think Priest needs to cash in and break the fuck out somehow, somewhere.
Ryan's predicting that already.
I've been predicting it since SummerSlam last year when I boldly predicted it.
I feel like the last Money in the Banks they've just had so long they just kind of run out of time and have to fumble it or something.
Right.
Because Theory
he's going to be the first one to have it expire.
Yeah. Because Theory teased it at SummerSlam when we were all there, and I was like,
correct in Nashville. Yeah,
could be fun.
Yeah. All right, good picks there, Joe. Your 1 or 2 selections for this one.
I'm taking 2.
Okay.
I agree with A-Town Down Under. Okay. I've been a fan of Austin Theory since my wife and I met him in Pittsburgh at Payback. He was super cool. And he was really cool with the kids. That's what really was impressive because like a kid was wearing a John Cena shirt. And he went, "So you excited to see John Cena even though I beat him at WrestleMania?" I have bad news. Good. He's going to be here tonight. So I hope it doesn't ruin your entire weekend, but at least you got to meet me. Stuff like that. I'm like, good. That was really cool and the kid loved it. And he was super nice to us. So like he didn't have to be. We were just 2 adults, but I'm going with them because they need something. And they need to take those championship titles to SmackDown. I disagree with Judgment Day. They're gonna win. I'm going with Judgment Day.
Okay.
Keeping the Raw championships.
Yeah.
Be sweet.
Yeah, there's still some. You say there's juice left in Bloodline. I disagree with that, but I feel like there's plenty more juice left in the Judgment Day.
Judgment juice.
That's a T-shirt. I like it.
So all right, gnarly.
Kevin,
but it's way better than Nelly's pink juice. Like that's just gross.
Yeah. Kevin, his picks: Miz and R-Truth and DIY. So he's going with those 2. Jason has Judgment Day winning them both, so they're going to retain. All right, so he's not going with any change in there.
I love Jason's picks, man. They're so fun.
I
hate that I agreed with them on one.
Yeah, it's always a risk that you take. But he could be right. You're right. So I got 2 as well. I got Truth and Miz. You guys kind of said nice reason. I almost took Waller and Theory, but I went with Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. And I went with them because of the just announced Clash at the Castle show in Scotland. So obviously those guys are European descent. So I'm like, all right, let's give them the belt. That's going to make that a nice high profile match for that show.
But wouldn't it be better? But wouldn't it be better for them to win it there and chase it instead of already being the champs?
It would be, but they already had that at the Australia show, Elimination Chamber. So I was like, look, maybe we give them their moment there and do it at Clash of the Castle. But
right.
I like your guys' logic either way there.
I said they're kind of an underdog too, which is they need a kind of an underdog story at some point in Mania. There's always one.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. That's fair. Well, there's another one of I mean, they're pushing that with Sammy and Gunther as far as talking about underdogs. So depending on you're fine. It's just how do you feel and who's going to win that one, right? All right, so that's your tag match. Let's go to the the 6-man, 6-woman match. Jade, Bianca, Naomi versus Damage Control. Rye, go ahead, buddy.
Jade's gonna get the pin.
Yeah.
Let's kind of give her that moment, kind of boost her up, get some action figures out soon.
All makes sense, Joe.
They've said on television before that Bianca is undefeated at WrestleMania.
Oh,
the streak continues. She's going to get the female version of a streak like The Undertaker. Maybe not 20 years, 21 years in a row, but they're going to stretch this out for a while. She's so over, she doesn't need the championship. And the rest of the ladies on the top of the card have already lost at Mania. Bianca continues to win.
What did you guys think of her SmackDown entrance and signing on Friday?
Jade's
short, sweet, to the point.
Her first debut one, I guess you could call it. Mm-hmm.
I thought she did pretty good in the Rumble too, like just with the chaos and just like her first big it was her debut, wasn't it?
Yeah, Rumble was her wrestling
besides on
debut.
Screen, yeah. So she looks. I mean, she looks good. It's going to be nice to see how her career develops because she's around people that are going to actually make sure she's a pro wrestler instead of the other team.
They've got all the facilities and ways to make her better if she can do it. So, all right, so we're unanimous. That's who I'm going with, and that is also who Kevin and Jason are going with. So across the board, Jade, Bianca, Naomi for that one. Let's go to that Philly street fight. It's Cross and the AOP versus Lashley and the Street Profits. Go ahead, Rye.
I'll do the Street Profits. I would like this Final Testament to kind of catch some traction, but it's just I don't see anything. Karrion Kross is just. I think I like him. It just doesn't seem like he never catches traction doing anything. But I'll pick the Street Profits.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this is his last, attempt to really make him a big deal, and this will be a good showcase for him. But we'll see.
I think Montez Ford is completely underrated too. That guy is so athletic and so good, and just I like what they're doing with the Street Profits with Bobby, but I just feel like they're throwing stuff in with it without really explanation. Like get B-Fab the fuck out of there. She didn't work in any of the stuff she's done. She looks like a worm with braids. Like get the fuck out of here. Like just it shouldn't be whatever. But yeah, I take the Street Profits. I hope they can do something with that. It'd be nice to see Final Testament win, but there's just no traction there. There's nothing happening.
Joe?
I disagree. Final Testament wins, and Street Profits turn on Lashley and go full heel. Wow. Or Montez does.
Oh, okay.
Or teases it. It won't happen at Mania because it's on night 2 and there's too much going on there. So it'll be like something like that will be subtle that we'll find out Friday on SmackDown. But I'm going with the New Testament because they have to win. There's Lashley and the Street Profits can lose. Montez, like you said, he's way too good to even be in a tag team. He should be a single star strapped to the moon via Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty through the barbershop window type moment. And he has the chops to do it and the athletic ability to be believable.
And I have the barber window.
Yes, you do. and that Friday, SmackDown is in Detroit.
Front row.
Yes, sir. We will be there.
You could just have it happen at your barber.
I'm like, meet me at Woodward, dude. I'm just a couple miles down the road.
Exactly.
I'll have the that wrestling podcast T-shirt on also. So
thank you, man. That's amazing. That's amazing.
It's gonna be right where the corner meets the stairs, right around the entrance ramp.
Perfect. Yeah. That's gonna be fun. Yeah, so let's see here. Jason.
Yeah, who's
Oh
your
yeah,
pick?
I didn't go. I'm gonna go with Lashley and the Profits. You guys have amazing reasoning. I did see a clip this week that they initially tried to make, when they got together, make them heels, and the crowd just wasn't having it. And Ryan, at the house show we went to right after Christmas, it was, I think, them versus the LWO. People loved Lashley and the Profits, and I think they were working heel. I think they were working heel and to be designed to boo, and people were just like, "Nope, we love Lashley.
He's
we
too
love
charismatic. It's too funny.
We love these guys." So
because remember when he jumped off and he got the boots to the face and he just like stood there and was like,
I forgot
just like
about
2
that.
minutes,
Yes.
and just fell down like,
yeah,
man.
So while Joe, I would love to see your line of reasoning happening. I don't think they're going to go that route. So I'm going to stick with Lashley and the Profits. Joe, I don't know if this is good news or bad news.
No.
Jason picks Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain.
You guys are more alike than you know.
Look at that. Brothers from different mothers. Unbelievable. Kevin has the Lashley and the Profits.
My brother annoys me too.
More in common than you think. All right, so then that brings us to our final match that was added in this past week. It is Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee against who we got? Santos and Dom. Go ahead, Rye.
I think Rey and Dragon Lee just kind of do the same Jade Cargill thing. Just get this guy Dragon Lee some limelight, get him going, showcase their athleticism. I think, like you were saying, Joe, like LWO can lose. Dom's awesome. I've got that guy's so cool to me right now. We'll see kind of where that goes with this fun little tease with LWO is kind of cool too, with that backstage like Judgment Day meeting where they're like, what are you doing, dude? Like it's kind of fun. So I think Dom gets distracted somehow and then Rey pins him, or Dragon Lee gets that pin and just Dom gets irate and just confused and just distraught, and we'll see kind of where that goes.
All right. It's Rey and Dragon Lee for the win. Joe?
Rey won last year. Dom wins this year. Rubber match next year.
Retirement
match at WrestleMania. Rubber match. Rey and Dom.
Match.
So that means that Dom has to win this year, and he's going to pin Dragon Lee and just say he beat his dad.
That'd be sweet.
That's your story.
If Dom loses, he has to wear Rey's mask the rest of his career.
Right. But no, if that's your story, he's going to brag about beating his dad, even though he pins Dragon Lee. That's why you even said it. LWO can lose and they'll still be over. Rey can lose and still be over.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dom doesn't matter. He's already over. He's booed constantly. He's the best. He's the best. So I want to see him brag about beating his deadbeat dad, even though he doesn't pin him.
All right. I see the angle
there's your story.
There. Yeah.
And the rubber match the next year at Mania. Main event of night
41 in Detroit.
Right.
I rewatched the Lair Mania match this week. That was on my rewatch list. Boy, is that fun. It is
Cinnamon Toast Crunch match.
I forgot about that going into it. And when
everywhere.
He comes out, I'm like, oh, I forgot. So good though. So good. And Joe, I'm with you. I had the same kind of line of reasoning. I'm like, Dom should get this one over Rey so that maybe they can do a round 3 at some point. And yeah, it's interesting where they're going with this, kind of weird Judgment Day. You're doing this now? What are you to do here? Like that. So I think them getting a win can kind of feed that in.
The dude's been in jail. He knows how to play politics. I'm telling you.
No doubt about it.
You do what you got to do to survive.
How much fun was that to show my 7-year-old when she watched with me this week? Of like, he's coming from jail. I'm like,
what was it? It was last year where he fought Rey. That entrance was so sick.
Yeah,
the mask and the handcuffs and 2 feet taller than Rey. It was cool, man.
Yep. 10 police officers escorting him down. Yeah, it was quality. That was Jason's moment of the year last year.
Really?
You talk about out there picks. Listen, we all loved it, but there's a little thing called CM Punk in Survivor Series that clearly won the rest of us over. And he was like, nope, Dom's prison entrance. It was the greatest.
Didn't even make my top 20.
No, it was good though. All right, let's see. So Kevin also has Dom and Santos, and Jason has Ray and Dragon Lee. So we're another mix up on that one where we have a couple for that and a couple for Santos and Dom. So that's it, guys. Yeah, so we got 13 matches, 2 nights, probably 4 hours each night. You got to figure there'll be some celebrity mumbo jumbo. There's,
Hall of Fame kind of thingy in the middle where they introduce everybody again. Is that Friday night?
It is. It's right after SmackDown. Yep. So you just throw on the network and watch some of that if you want. So that
Heyman one's going to be incredible.
We spent some time earlier on that. Yeah, but that's definitely meeting our interest of like what they're going to say. And what I told Joe Ryan was like, I just don't want in character Heyman the whole time. Like, please talk about how WCW was for you and ECW, and just don't be like, my tribal chief. I've acknowledged, like you can do that once, but I want the real guy to talk. So that's where my head space is for that one. All right, guys. Any final quick thoughts on Mania and anything else for the weekend? I'm excited. This is maybe even more excited than I was going into the pod.
Each day that goes by, it's getting more hype. People at work are talking about it. I'm talking to people at work about it. It's everyone. I'm just like, you guys watching Mania this weekend? They're like, who's? I'm like, oh, Rock's back. Okay. And then
yeah, there it is.
Like I don't know. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, because he's single-handedly the one responsible for making wrestling cool again.
Hey, if you didn't watch for the last 5 years, that's true. If they don't know and I used to watch him as a kid, I'll check out this. Yeah, all right. Like it gets those guys into it too. I'm in for the whole ride, man. I'm excited.
Yeah. Joe, any final word?
No, I just want it to happen. I'm just waiting for it to. I'm just waiting for Saturday. Yeah, that's basically it. It's like
go ahead. Sorry.
It's just like I've been like every day for the past like 3 weeks, wrestling shirt of the day. Even where it's like underneath, it's like, which one am I wearing? Like, I can't wear it to work, but it's still on there. So
I wore my Bloodline one today, man.
You did Bloodline. Yeah, I already know Saturday night's going to be head of the table, and Sunday night's going to be Claim Your Kingdom because I'm picking the winners of each main event.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And I love the fact that Jay and Jimmy are happening on night one to prove
that's the right call.
Night one is going to be an all Bloodline night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their dominance is going to show on night one.
Does MJF show up and kick Cody in the nuts after he wins?
Can you imagine?
Does Damian Priest cash in?
Oh my God!
Championship.
He's gonna cash on Rhea. That's the twist.
And that championship is for the champion of the Judgment Day.
Just cash in on NXT at this point, bro. Dude, find something to do.
Begging you. AEW.
I'm begging you, cash in. I want to cash in on Adam Copeland's open challenge. Can I do that? It's gonna be great, guys. Ryan, thanks for hopping on as always, my fan. We figured since your first picks was what, the Rumble, right?
I think that
was a 4-match card. I'm like, we gotta give him a little bit more than just that. That was such a small card that.
And then you gave him 4 picks again.
More. Exactly. We've got to build it up a little bit more. But
it's the end goal. The end of the year, I'll have like 12. So we're good.
Exactly. Yeah, you very well have time to come back again. All right, guys.
Are you guys doing anything post Mania night, or are you guys doing the next night, or anything like that?
I think that's the plan. So I'm headed to Kevin's in Fort Wayne. So we'll be together. So Jason's on the road, Joe's at home. We'll kind of see how it all plays out. But I think at the very least, me and Kevin are right there to do what's up, everybody. Night one is in the book.
Well, you can let me in on that too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just like the saying, that's where the starting point is of what we're together watching. So yeah, we should have something post Saturday and post Sunday. So we'll see how it goes, man. Your reactions can be found right here on That Wrestling Podcast, youtube.com/That Wrestling Podcast, and at That WrestlePod for your social media needs, and whatamaneuver.net for your merch. If there's any week to always say this, this is the week to say it. As always, we end with enjoy wrestling.
Thanks for watching That Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And for more That Wrestling Podcast content, follow @ThatWrestlePod on social media.